So I relentlessly made fun of the crackhead V-belt drive that was on this car, and I didn't like it. And some of the parts that I thought were gonna work, putting this one together as a serpentine drive, didn't pan out. I actually had a cast aluminum alternator bracket that turned out to be for V6 only, and it had the alternator. I think it would actually set the alternator out like all the way over here at the pulley, and that shit was no good. Couldn't use it, as it turns out. And I bought this gay-wide little turnbuckle billet aluminum horse piss adapter bracket, which, while I really don't like it, it's like the cheapest shit you can buy, like off Amazon. It's crap. Although, because it has a turnbuckle adjuster, I can tension the belt, and I don't have to put an idler, or a tensioner idler on, which I don't actually have room for. When you buy these kind of brackets off eBay, they're the style that I prefer to use. They're like off of like 90s F series, mid 90s, early 90s. They're all billet aluminum, or not billet, cast aluminum. They weigh nothing, and most of the time you can modify them so that they actually don't interfere with the water pump, so that you don't have to actually take all that shit off to fool with it. They bolt straight to the cylinder heads. And one thing I do is actually cut the provisions for the smog pump off the bottom of it. And usually with that, and it'll have a tensioner holder for like a stock replacement tensioner. You can put it next to the alternator, and usually that's all you need to have a working belt drive. That's the way that I would like to have them all set up, because it's simpler. The problem is dick suckers want like over $100 for some of these brackets. I got this one for like $50 because I guess he like dropped it or hit it with a hammer and it cracked, and it's like TIG welded and shit. One thing I didn't realize is because that late of truck doesn't have a mechanical fuel pump, I actually had to hack on it. I don't know if you can see where I shit rigged it, but I actually did cut the power steering bracket somewhere up in there to fit the mechanical fuel pump. So you can technically use these with a mechanical fuel pump 302. It's probably even easier to do on a 351, because I think the cylinder, it probably would move the cylinder head farther away from the fuel pump. But you basically just got to cut a notch in it to get around it. And I think the fuel pump, the power steering pump will technically clear the fuel pump. I don't know. Up in there. Probably can't see shit. Whatever. Anyways. See if I can open this one up, because this one has nothing but truck brackets on it, which is something I almost never see on these cars. Whenever I see people putting them together, they never use the truck bracketry, which is kind of, I guess, kind of retarded. I don't know. Like, you can put the whole AC, it's kind of shit rigged as far as the way that it's all crimped together and ran, but I mean, you get the idea. The bracketry fits in there. There's no flimsy stamped steel crap because the Mustangs, they have stamped steel. I think the power steering AC, it's stamped steel, and you've got to like have all these weird little parts and shit to make it work. Whereas this, it's one piece, and you know, you'll see it. There's that one stud right there that, you know, does go through the water pump timing cover, but you could easily cut that little cocksucker off. You know, you could just like lop it, like get the angle grinder and cut that fucking shit off. You don't need it. All you need is the three good bolts to bolt it to the cylinder head. And fuck the rest of it. The rest of it can go straight to hell. See if I can get to the other one. I always wanted a Mustang. This is the closest thing I could come up with. Now, this one has I think this actually is a Mustang bracket for the alternator. I don't know when they did it, but at some point they started putting cast aluminum brackets on this side, and then they kept these stamped steel bullshitters on this side. There's actually supposed to be like up in here, there's supposed to be a fucking air compressor, but I just figured this would be cheaper. This stamp bracket actually is a custom part from, I think, LMR to keep this horse shit bracket on for a 351 swap. So this actually, I have one just like it that went with this car that I went through the trouble to paint up, clean up, couldn't use it. I probably could have engineered a way to reuse it, I just didn't. So we got a big stupid idler on the end of it where an AC is supposed to bolt up. And like some of a broken ratchet holding it to the cylinder head or whatever to keep it from wobbling. It would deflect a little bit with the tensioner holding it. So I'd put that on there. What else? But yeah, that's what else is it? That fucking belt is tore the fuck up, man. Holy shit. I had some problems. I don't remember what rectified it. I think it was either the power steering pump needed to be pressed in a little bit farther. You can see it's kind of frayed. And what it would do is it would start walking off the crank. It never slung it off. It would just slowly start walking off the damn crankshaft. This is starting to wear kind of funny. It's fucking typical bullshit. And then there was some other shit with the Gaywad Summit trick balancer where it's got like the removable weights. I had to buy like a spacer off of either eBay or Amazon or some crap, 950 of an inch spacer, because the one that Summit sent wasn't really in alignment. I'm hoping this thing isn't still fucking up and trying to walk off, because it's worn But I've been driving it and hasn't come off or tried to walk off, because it would just like slowly like walk up off of the pulleys and shit. But I mean, you know, that's what you get when you try to eyeball align a whole fucking belt drive. Is it eats itself. That's why I like the cast aluminum brackets and not putting weird shit on. But because this engine turned out to be a zero balance, which the engine builder, he fucking told me probably 7 times, even put it on the bill, that it's a 28 ounce imbalance, and it shook like a motherfucker. It wouldn't act right until I took all the balancers off of it. So I don't know what the deal is. Whatever. Maybe I put the wrong balance. Maybe it does need weights. I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit anymore. But yeah, I don't like these stamped steel accessory brackets. They're just kind of fucking lame. I don't care for them. Whereas you could just have like 3 bolts and it'll hold everything on that motherfucker, and you don't got to worry about any of that gay shit.